Barbara Bush was one of just 2 American women to be the wife of one president and the mother of another. She was always more than a political spouse and matriarch, though. She was a major political asset, as her husband, a former Navy aviator turned oil man, ran for Congress and the US Senate.
A happy family man, the father of 5 wonderful children, decided to run for public office.
George Bush later became US ambassador to the UN, then director of the CIA.
It is my duty to serve my country. I am a candidate for President of the United States.
And Barb was there, introducing him to voters during his first unsuccessful White House run in 1980.
George says that in order to stop the inflation, you have to limit the growth of federal spending.
George Bush was elected vice president to Ronald Reagan, and 8 years later, when he ran a very negative campaign for the White House against Democrat Mike Dukakis, Bush's family man image, and Barbara in particular, were crucial.
Someone said to George, "How can you run for president? You don't have any constituency." And George said, "Well, you know, I've got a great big family and thousands of friends." And that's what he has.
As First Lady, Barbara Bush, with her trademark white hair and triple strand of fake pearls, cut a more down-to-earth figure than Nancy Reagan had, and the cause she chose to champion was literacy.
Did you know illiteracy in this country could be eliminated by the year 2000?
Bush lost his re-election campaign in 1992 to Bill Clinton, but once the passions of that campaign were spent, an unlikely friendship was formed.
I love Bill Clinton. Maybe not his politics, but I love Bill Clinton.
And in 2001, Barbara Bush's eldest son, George W., took over from Clinton when he was sworn in as America's 43rd president.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
With the 2016 election rolling around, Barbara Bush wasn't really in favour of her second son, Jeb, running to be the 3rd President Bush.
There are other people out there that are very qualified, and we've had enough Bushes.
When Jeb did run, 90-year-old Barbara hit the campaign trail again.
I hope they all vote for Jeb, because he's close to perfect, according to his mother.
But this time, it wasn't going so well.
Am I talking or are you talking, Jeb?
I'm talking right now. I'm talking.
You can go back. You're not talking. You interrupted me,
September 30th,
Jeb. Are you going to
you said
apologize, Jeb? No.
And Barbara Bush wasn't impressed.
He sort of makes faces and says insulting things. I mean, he's said terrible things about women. I don't understand why people are for him.
Barbara Bush could speak for herself too. In 1990, as First Lady, she gave the commencement address at the prestigious Wellesley College. It was voted one of the 50 best political speeches of the 20th century.
Who knows? Somewhere out in this audience may even be someone who will one day follow in my footsteps and preside over the White House as the president's spouse. And I wish him well.
As well as public service, more than anything else, it was a speech about family and choices and Barbara Bush's own philosophy in life.
At the end of your life, you will never regret not having passed one more test, winning one more verdict, or not closing one more deal. You will regret time not spent with a husband, a child, a friend, or a parent.
The Bush family had their share of tragedy. Their second child, Robin, died of leukemia at the age of 3, and Barbara also suffered a miscarriage. But if her 73-year marriage to George Bush is anything to go by, hers was a pretty happy life. She spent her last night on Earth talking to family, holding the hand of the man she'd been with for 3/4 of a century, and sipping bourbon whiskey.
I've climbed perhaps the highest mountain in the world, but even that cannot hold a candle to being Barbara's husband. I love you.
I love you too.